How you doing, everyone? My name is Ryan and this is Charlie, and welcome back to This Week in Boxing. Charlie, how's it going, mate?
I'm alright, how are you?
Not bad, bro. Not a bad week. How did it feel last week, your first video?
It was nice. It was just like me and you chatting, you know. It was easy.
Yeah.
I can't say it was any good, but it was easy.
Fellas, for you that don't know, me and Charlie's been doing this and been talking boxing for what, 20 years?
Years.
Yeah, maybe 20 plus years. Know what I mean? It's been a hot minute.
I'm always right.
If you say so. All right then, let's start. This week in boxing, let's start with the news. Not a busy week in boxing, but some interesting stories. I'm going to start with your favourite story from last week. The British Board of Boxing have not sanctioned Fabio Wardley and David Adelaide for the British title for their fight on the 20th of October.
So, I guess if we try this or run this one back. So, Adelaide and Wardley had a bit of a confrontation.
Yep.
And that obviously I'm assuming that hasn't gone down too well with the British Border Control, because as you just said, apparently they're fighting for nothing.
Yeah.
so they fought for free, and now they're fighting for a paycheck but no belt.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for me. And I find it tricky for two reasons. I understand why the board won't sanction it. We're assuming it's because of the fight.
It's true, we don't.
Yeah? So we're assuming it's because of the fight, and I understand morally they don't want to sanction it. But what happens if Adelaide wins? It makes the belt vacant. Then you have to have a vacant title shot between the two top contenders, who will most probably be Adelaide and bloody Fabio.
And I don't even think, this is a bit of a farce, because if we roll it back even further, the original sanctioned fight was Wardley and
Fraser Clark,
yeah. So this was the backup, and now that this is even fallen through. So in terms of, for the British title, so it's getting a bit messy.
Yeah, like I said, it's messy. I understand the reason why, but again, like I said last week, I don't want to rehash old news, but fights are not new in boxing. No. Post press conference fights, red carpet fights, whatever you want to call them, it's not new. So making a sanction, yes, deduct the pay part of the pay, 10%, 5% or something, but withdrawing the belt just causes more problems down the line.
When you listen to some of the responses this week, I think part of the, I don't say overreaction, because as I said last week, I don't think it was the best behaviour, but some of the reaction possibly due to the magnitude of the press conference and the event. We called it an event, not necessarily a boxing fight, but the event, the people involved. So maybe some of this reaction is to appease
the powers that be. Yeah. So, very good point. I never thought of it from that point of view. Because obviously it is being held in Saudi Arabia, and yes, it's Riyadh season. Yeah. It's the opening of the Riyadh season, so maybe that type of negative publicity I think could have an impact.
Yeah, because you heard Mr. Warren talking this week, and I'm not saying he's exaggerating, but like you said, he's a seasoned man. Yeah. That's putting it politely. So it's not like he hasn't seen this sort of thing before, but he's obviously aired his disgust, and part of that, for me, reading between the lines, was probably to do with the event and the organisers, and at the moment he's in favour with that rather powerful audience and customer, so I think he had to
say something,
put his foot down.
Right. So last point on this before we move on to the next subject. The fight's not for another 6 weeks approximately. Is there another hearing or is there an appeal within that time to get the fight re-sanctioned? And the reason why I'm saying that, it sounds good now to slap out a sanction. Yeah, we're not sanctioning this fight. It's terrible. It shouldn't have happened. Yeah. And then people are like, look, we've discussed with both parties. We've had a resolution. A little money's come in under the table, and the fight gets sanctioned.
Possibly, but to be fair, whether it's sanctioned or not, I think the interest now is because of what happened, isn't it? Because, as we said last week, Wardley's got to do something. He got put on his back.
Boxing gets a bad rap for when you have a big pay-per-view, the undercard's poor, and then you get the main event, the co-main event, whatever.
Yeah.
It will be a good shout for boxing if you put this fight first, because you'll guarantee every boxing fan that wants to watch it will tune in early
to watch it,
and then more than likely stick through the remainder of the card.
Yeah, you've not been too polite about those undercards.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. There's certain promoters undercards you haven't been too polite. So yeah, this is a fight that we can look forward to on the undercard.
Yeah.
Whether it's first, last, but I hear your point. Yeah, putting it first is a very good.
It's a way to guarantee
tool,
the audience.
Yeah, a good tool to as you say, stimulate a good audience.
All right then. Yeah. Let's stick with the heavyweights and the talk around Saudi Arabia. Turkish Ali Sheikh, who is the guy in charge on the Saudi side dealing with Fury and Ngannou, said this week there are no boxing events in Saudi unless you hear it from us. Meaning, Skills Challenge, as we alluded to last week, is no longer the major player out there. The entities that's doing Fury and Ngannou, which is firmly working with Frank Warren, are saying nothing's going on unless we do it, we announce it. So we could effectively say is that the Eddie Hearn show with Saudi seems to be over.
Yeah, it's confusing because weren't Skills Challenge promoting Usyk and potentially Deontay Wilder?
Yeah.
So what are they? Are they gone?
I do not know.
What's happened?
See, it's hot. Okay, it's all good signing someone to a contract.
Yeah.
It's no good signing someone to a contract if you have no fights to offer and can't present fights.
Well, they've obviously upset someone because that guy was pretty clear, like you said. Pretty clear. He said it's not true unless it comes from our mouths.
With that in mind, no money, no events, it throws the ball back in Frank Warren's court in terms of how you're going to present these events moving forward. Because I would assume Frank has an exclusive deal or some sort of deal with the new entity. And as we know, Eddie Hearn and School Challenge were pretty pally, pretty friendly and talking it up for a long period of time about their agreement and their business relationship and all the bits and bobs. Normally you have businesses, just like these promoters, there's two sides to the coin. If you're good with one, you're not good with the other. It'll be very, very hard for Eddie Hearn to try jump ship from Skills Challenge to this new promoter. Especially when Eddie's not the money guy. The Saudi is the money. Yeah. It's not like you can say you can negotiate or bring something to the table.
Well, big money in it. It's like money over money. Yeah, so... No, it's going to be interesting. You know? So you're right, but even when you talk about Eddie, I think it's still, well, maybe not actually, because they're more talking about maybe Fury, Usyk next, isn't it? But then I think I saw somewhere there was some talk about maybe Fury, AJ, even though because this Wilder's not going to happen. So maybe there's look at the end of the day, I think what they want is the biggest events, regardless of who the promoter is. So. I think Eddie's still got fighters he can bring to the table, but maybe the fight that they were proposing for them and what I heard for the money they wanted for that fight wasn't feasible. So I think everything's still on the table, but for the right price. And I think what's probably happened is they've calibrated their pricing. Anyway, by the way, I said that guy was clear. I've got to be careful because is it Your Excellence or
yeah.
So there's a prince. Yeah, the prince was
or
clear.
A sheikh or or some
Yeah, the prince was clear.
Yeah, he made it pretty clear. Yeah. All right. Last bit of heavyweight news, I believe, on my list. In that same interview, same day I watched the interview with Frank Warren, talking about the collapse of this fight and that there's no events in Saudi, and he proposed another fight. A fight that he kind of deemed Battle of the Hearts. Who has the biggest heart?
You're out of order.
No, I'm not out of order.
He didn't say Battle of the Hearts.
I swear he said...
He said let's see who has the biggest heart.
Yeah, so he
You
suggested-
deemed it- you called it Battle of the Hearts.
He's suggesting who has the bigger heart, and it's a 50-50 fight, and it's all about who could dig deep in that tank. Yeah, he was directly or indirectly, he was slating his own fighter in Daniel Dubois,
He was quite honest, to be fair.
but it was Daniel Dubois versus AJ.
He did say, he was quite honest about his fight. He did say that Dubois
That's
why are you
not
making
hard.
me laugh? Dubois has been questioned. He's been questioned, and he said, "Let's see." And he did say that he should have won the fight because of this appeal and the low blow and all that good stuff. But he did say that even after that, he should have dug deeper. Should have gritted his teeth, dug deeper. So he did say, and he said he has got something to prove. He has said that, but what he said, from what I heard, probably what you heard, is that he said, let's see Dubois AJ
And see who has the biggest heart.
Yeah, he did say that. So he's inadvertently admitting that there's a question mark over
So
Dubois' heart.
what you could do in December, you can have in October, you can have in November, in October, you can have Battle of the Baddest,
And the Tin Man fight.
and then November have Battle of the Hearts. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I listen to Frank and Eddie and Ben Solomon their interviews, and they do make me laugh. I mean, they know how to engage the public.
Tin Man Championship.
All right, moving on. Let's go to the welterweight, £147. So a few little bits in there, mainly around Crawford Spence. Let's start with.
Can we stop talking about that fight?
Let's start with Terence Crawford. He said this week that basically Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia could go do one. That I'm not fighting them. When I wanted to fight, they didn't want to fight me. They said all this other side of the street stuff. Now I'm on top and I just beat their top boy.
I think
They
it's
all begging for fights.
slightly unfair, right? Because Keith Thurman ain't fighting anyone. So there's no point saying that Keith Thurman don't want to fight him. Because Keith Thurman don't seem to want to fight anyone.
Yeah.
And Danny Garcia's, I think, 154 now, isn't he? He's gone up.
Yeah, it's kind of floating around. Yeah.
So, unless he's going up to that weight, it's not like Danny Garcia. It was more PBC kind of thing more than the actual individual fighters. But obviously he's unified world champion, so there's nowhere else for anyone to go. There's nowhere else for anyone to go. But I don't even know why they're even talking. I mean, Thurman, maybe 10 years ago, whatever it was, maybe that Thurman could have done, but this Thurman, I don't know. We saw what he did to a relatively inactive Errol Spence, and Errol Spence, I thought, was pretty decent.
Yeah.
But what would he do
With Thurman?
With a Thurman that I don't know the last time before. One fight in like 5 years.
No, the last time he fought, well, I don't say the last time, but he got beat by Pacquiao. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
It wasn't long
That
ago.
was a long time
It was
ago.
only a couple of years ago. Thurman hasn't been active.
I think it's more than a couple of years ago.
Thurman said, in a response, that Spence weren't the real Spence, what he would have done to Spence in that fight. And I thought, guess what? As a fighter, you're going to say that, but come on, Keith.
He might.
Come on,
He
Keith.
might.
There's no way you would have dealt with Spence the way Crawford
He might
did.
have. He might. He listen. I don't know. At one point in time, he might have, because that Spence, I think, and we're going to move on. I think is that is. I think he's done.
No.
But at one point in time, Thurman, at his best, was very good. This I don't even know because he don't fight, but this Crawford, I don't know what he's going to do with anyone.
All right, so hold on, let me clarify something here, right? And this is what it does bug me. With all of us fight fans, we need to be more fair with the fighters, yeah.
Yeah.
Before Crawford Spence, Spence was a killer.
No, he was.
Yeah, he was the best. He was the favorite to win the fight. He was unified, and X, Y, Z, so and so. Now Crawford hands it to him. It's like, oh well, maybe he wasn't. It's like, no, come up. Let's be fair. Before that, he destroyed you guys. Yeah, we saw him wipe through the whole welterweight division.
But he was.
We can't take that away from him
We
now.
don't take it away from him, but it's the same at a lesser level. We're going to see a fight this weekend with Joe Joyce and Zhang.
Mm-hmm.
And the Joyce that fought Zhang, I'm not saying that he won't lose again, but was off from what we'd seen before. Yeah. And so you're right, styles make fights, and certain fighters might be able to nullify certain fighters' tools. But there's certain fights you look at and you do say they're off a bit. Yeah. So whatever we say about Spence, and his timing was off. He was getting hit, like, and he was walking into shots. And
I remember the first time me and you watched Crawford together properly was when Crawford beat the brakes off Ricky Burns. Yeah, remember that fight? Remember that fight?
It's Ricky Burns.
No, but do you remember that fight though?
It's Ricky Burns.
Since that time, we've basically seen every Crawford fight. 90% of them we watched together. Yeah. Yeah? We knew how good Crawford was.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But we never knew Crawford was going to up his game from previous performances to what we saw that night. So what I'm trying to say is that we can't take that away. This is what I'm trying to say.
He's fought some pubmen and he ain't beat them up like that. So you've got to say, like, proportionally, maybe something wrong. We won't, like you said, you might be right. He might be just really that good. Yeah. And we could all speculate, right? But he might be really that good, and nothing Spence could have done could have stopped what happened or prevented what happened. But there's enough people out there that have said, enough people who are qualified have said inactivity, the weight. I don't think it makes any difference. I think Crawford beats him all the time.
Yeah, same.
But not that badly. This is what I'm trying to say, not that badly. So, like I said, with Zhang and Joyce, Zhang could beat him again, but I don't think he'll ever beat him that badly again.
Let's leave Zhang and Joyce for now, because we're going to talk at the end of the video for next week's preview. But let's stick with this whole Crawford-Spence scenario, because there's two other stories around this whole scenario right now. Second part is, I'm actually going to put this in two parts, is that one, Spence has activated the rematch clause, and two, it is reported that Spence has now left Derek James. So, two things to that. One, as you said, I don't think the rematch is worth it.
I don't think rematch will happen.
Yeah?
I don't think
because you're talking about 147 and Spence don't want to do that.
He can't fight 147 anymore.
But then also, Derek James. I feel a bit sorry for Derek James. Derek James was trainer of the year last year or the year before.
Is that official?
It's rumours. It's been so it's on all the websites. It's all going all over the place. But I feel sorry for Derek James. He was trainer of the year a year or 2 years ago. He's not a bad trainer. He's a very good, well accomplished trainer. He is. But fighters always seem, when they lose, they want to blame someone and throw the bag out.
Well, listen, if I don't know much. If I lost like that,
you're gonna say something.
What am I gonna say? If I lost like that, I'll be sacking everyone. I'll be sacking everyone. Listen, if you lose like that, you got to sack everyone because something ain't right.
No, but as much as we were all mesmerised with that performance, okay, wait. We watched the fight at my house. We were all mesmerised. That room we were shell shocked. That whole room.
Yeah.
The commentators were shell shocked.
Yeah.
The crowd was shell shocked. Yeah. The boxing audience was shell shocked.
Yeah.
Don't we think Derek James was shell shocked as well? How can the whole world be like, oh my gosh, what did Crawford do? Wait, look at this. This is amazing. Derek James was watching that ringside. He's like, Jesus Christ, Crawford's chewing my boy to bits. He was in shock as well. And the point I'm making is that it was such a great performance, such a high level performance. No one expected what we saw.
He made it easy. You know, like, you can't. If somebody, you're counterpunching, and then somebody's just walking you down and walking into your shots. That's what I'm trying to make. Don't get me wrong, the accuracy, the timing was superb. Yeah. But he was making it easy. He was just walking down, and everyone knew. Everybody and their dog knew if you do that, you're gonna get done. And even when he was trying to jump in to make it ugly, he was getting smacked, and it was just he was totally inept, totally inept. So
if Spence does leave Derek James, where does he go?
I don't think it matters. I think, to be honest, I think he should back it out. I think that's it for me. For me, after that sort of beating, that's it. That's it. At his age, after that type of beating, his inactivity, the amount of injuries,
the car crash, the drinking.
I think what do we drinking? Where'd you get this drinking from?
But it's well known that Errol Spence is a heavy drinker.
Who told you he's a heavy drinker?
So okay,
Who
I
told
ain't
you
seen him in the
never
bar
to go?
personally. Yeah,
him
but
getting
we've
freaky.
heard the stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's stick to what we know. Car crash.
Got eye cuts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
eye
and
injury.
a beating from
And
a
beating
master.
a beating from Crawford.
Yeah.
Again, let's stick to facts.
All right then. If he leaves, where does he go?
Who?
Spence.
Oh, look,
Seriously, if he leaves, where does he go? Who is he gonna find right now?
let's see if it's official he's left, and if he does leave, I don't know where he goes. I don't know. Really, honestly, as I said, I think he should pack it in. That's what do I know? But yeah, he took a
Right.
boy took a beating.
Let's go with Shakur Stevens. Shakur was supposed to fight Frank Martin, and that fight was purses were announced, purses were postponed. Fight was relatively agreed, and something at the what they call it, the 12th hour happened. Fights off. They're going back and forth on social media saying you ducked, I didn't duck.
Why is he trying to fight Frank Martin? What does he want from Frank Martin?
I think it was more of a mandatory. I'm not 100% sure, but it went to a purse bid. So if it's a purse bid, then it has to be
He should go and
called for.
He should go and chase the belts, isn't
Yeah.
he, really?
Whatever's happened, the fight's off, and now he's fighting Edwin de la Sosa?
Yeah, I see some little meme.
Santos. Edwin de la
I
Santos.
see some little meme with
Yeah.
And he's called everyone else. Says everyone else is ducking him.
Yeah. I'm not going to blame Shakur for this, because if a fight's agreed and everything's all done, and then Frank Martin's team don't execute, that seems to be an issue between Frank and his camp / promoter.
Stevenson just wants to fight everyone, though, doesn't
He's ambitious.
he? He is, but he's not quite. He is. I think he's high risk, low reward, isn't it?
All right, so
At the moment, he is, isn't he? He's
135 is stacked.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got too many fighters to name that can fight. There's a problem with boxing. What we know is that the best are not really fighting the best consistently. You got Haney's gone up to 140, but he's still undisputed. We've got
And he's meant to be fighting Progress.
yeah, he's supposed to fight Froch. Yeah, that's been announced.
But let's see.
It
Well, it hasn't been announced.
Not been announced yet. Yeah.
So let's see if that happens.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, we just keep getting built up.
Yeah. We've got Tank out there. Yeah. We still got Lomachenko out there. Off the top of my head.
Lomachenko.
No, but what I'm trying to he done good with Haney. The point I'm making is that you've got fights out there that can be made and we're not getting it. So yes, we're going to take this Edwin de la Santos fight, and we will take the Frank Martin fight. But at 135, you shouldn't have to argue for fights. Like if we were to look at if we were to name the fighters,
right.
you could get 8 to 9 good fighters in that division. You could do more.
You're right. You're right. There's so many fights out there to be made, and Shakur can't seem to get a real premium fight. He seems to.
I think, as you said,
scratching.
Low risk, high risk, low reward, and it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous fight. I'm not. Normally, I'll blame fighters and say, "Oh, come and do this," but I'm not actually blaming Shakur.
I thought something else in there. Will he actually make the weight?
Yeah, he has gone up a few times. As you mentioned a minute ago, Haney Prograis apparently signed for October 28th.
That's a good fight.
That is a good fight.
That's a good fight. Two boxers.
Yeah, it's one of those ones as well where, as good as Haney has looked over the years, unifying and fighting by far the best competition out of that 135, there's still a very big question mark over his head regarding the whiskers. Yeah, people seem to think he can't take a tough one. Going up in weight at 140 is gonna potentially
Also his power,
highlight that
or
increase it.
Power as well. I don't know if he has real punch power in it. He goes the distance a lot.
Yeah.
And he's
skillful.
Really slick.
Yeah.
But does he have that punch power?
That, people still argue about the Lomachenko fight and who won and who didn't win and everything. And again, in a close fight like that, it could go either way. I'm not going to argue if you say one or the other one. But what it did show is that everyone thinks Lomachenko has these amazing skills, which he does have.
See, that fight there,
Haney held his own.
That fight there is where I think I probably need to get my eyes checked, because everyone's telling me that Lomachenko won and it was close. I thought Haney won.
I thought Haney won, but I didn't think it was a complete. It was close. I remember watching the fight and thinking, "Ooh, Haney might have stole that one." And when I say stole that, I mean it was that close. I thought it was down the line.
But Lomachenko, we weren't going to give. Who thought Lomachenko got a win? Everyone seems to think Lomachenko won.
People think he won. Yeah.
If we say maybe a draw, and I disagree, but they're saying he won. Even after the fight, Shakur Steven. Anyway.
But this is what I said. People got to understand the sport and let's be real. 6-6 is a draw.
Yeah.
5-7 either way is a 1 round split from a draw. So that's not controversial.
It's for me because
It's just a fight. You know what I mean? It depends what you like. You're looking at ring generalship, effective aggression, clean punching. There was elements from both fights throughout the fight of doing those things. It's opinions. You know what I mean? It's not hard to say. If Lomachenko won that fight, I wouldn't have shed a tear. If Haney won that fight, I wouldn't have shed a tear. It was a close, competitive fight.
Couldn't have given him 6 rounds, but anyway.
All right. A funny one. So Carl Froch, who's becoming like one of the biggest trolls in boxing, he does make me laugh. On his show, Froch on Fighting, he had Tony Bellew on this week.
Yeah.
And there was a discussion between him and Tony, well, from a fan question about who would win if they fought at a catch weight. Obviously, Froch fought at 168, Bellew was at 175 most of his career, went up to cruiserweight and then obviously heavyweight. And then they were talking about their sparring sessions, which Bellew wanted to keep quiet, but Froch and said, no, you dropped me in XYZ. And the question is, who wins in a catch weight?
Bellew's much bigger than him.
Yeah, Bellew's a big dude.
This guy. I don't know, Crawford, he's talking, like you say, he's become a major troll. He's doing shows with anyone.
Yeah.
Like I hear him doing a show with George Groves. I don't think he
did. They've done a tour going around England.
Like the bloke. Listen, this guy is. I don't know whether he's got bills to pay, whether he's something. There's definitely something going on in because he wants to fight YouTubers. Then he's saying, "Oh, this guy's fighting the YouTuber, and that ain't right." But then he's calling out the next one, and he's got, I think after this video, we'll be calling you out. I don't know, Carl Froch. I don't know, but Bellew's much bigger, so I don't know what weight they're gonna find to fight. And we know Bellew likes a blow up. So
yeah. So let's say for argument's sake, Froch fought at 168.
Yeah.
So let's say he could effectively make 180, 185. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a stone. It's a stone.
You've seen this guy.
Yeah. He said in the video he weighs about 14 stone, which is 200 pounds.
He's tiny. 200
pounds is a decent size.
But that's out shape probably though.
Yeah. Or if he
is in shape.
Bellew, I'll say Bellew can most be. Bellew said he weighs 16, which is my weight, which means he can mostly make 14 and a half at a push.
Froch reckons he's 14 now.
Yeah, he can make 14 and a half at a push.
I don't know what he's looking at now, but is he fat? I mean, how's he 14?
I have no idea. Froch is not as tall as you think either.
No, yes, I said he's tiny.
Yeah, no, he's not that tall. They say he's 6'1".
So is he 14?
He's not 6'1".
14. Is he 14?
Yeah.
He must be burgers or something.
Who wins?
Bellew.
Yeah, knockout. Bigger, stronger.
Yeah, I think Bellew wins. I don't know why he did that. I mean, they're both old men now, isn't it? I think Bellew's young. Is Bellew younger?
Bellew is younger.
Bellew's younger. Yeah, Bellew all day long.
All right then. Last few bits. This is a weird one. Not Amir Khan. I said Amir Khan to last.
Well, we still talk about Amir Khan.
Yeah. Pacquiao wants to fight in the Olympics 2024. 40-plus-year-old Pacquiao wants to go for Olympic gold medal. Should it be allowed? I know they allow pro fighters in there now. But should it be allowed for a multiple-time world champion?
Is Olympics still on the boxing roster? Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's boxing.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me get it right. Is boxing still on the Olympic roster?
Yes, it is.
I thought they were taking it off.
Yeah. I know they allowed pros to go into the Olympics now. Yeah?
Yeah.
I can't remember, we tried a few years ago. It didn't go well for a current fighter. However, though, do you think it's fair to let a Hall of Fame boxer who won multiple world titles in 6, 7, 8 100 different weight classes, go in with amateur fighters.
Yes.
Yeah? Even though he's old,
Yeah.
do you think it's fair?
Yeah.
Why?
Because in other sports in the Olympics they do it, you let the dream team run around and win the basketball matches, so you might as well let Pacquiao go and bust up a few people in it. It's like they can't do it in one sport and not do it in another in the Olympics. So if you're gonna allow
the American
a
basketball
basketball team to go and pretty much pick a dream team and then go and play, I don't know, Greece and Slovakia and all that, you might as well let Pacquiao.
Well, everyone knows I don't watch many other sports. Has America ever lost that?
Yeah, they have.
They have actually lost, yeah?
They lose to Spain once. I'm trying to. I think they did.
Okay.
I think they did. I've got to be honest. I'll have to look it.
You
up.
have to look it up, but yeah.
Yeah, I think did they.
But you're right, though. You're right. If
But they
allow-
should never
if you-
lose. They should never lose.
They should never lose.
They
No,
should
they should never lose.
yeah.
But you're right. So if they allow it with other sports, they should really allow it with all sports. You can't just pick and choose which sports you allow it with.
No, absolutely. So let Pacquiao have a go. But guy, I mean, I don't know how old he is now. He's got to start thinking about his health.
Yeah, Pacquiao must be 43-ish.
Yeah. He's got to start thinking about his health.
Yeah.
You don't want to. You don't want to go on too long. We know what's happened to some of the greats that have gone on too long.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right then. Final subject before we go for next week's preview. Amir Khan has been doing the media rounds this week, and he said,
I've seen on TV this morning.
yeah, the reason why he possibly may have failed a post-fight drug test is because he may have sipped one of his mates' drinks. They're all bodybuilders that do steroids, and that's how I may have got contaminated. Please explain that answer. Why would you even open your mouth and say something so stupid?
Wasn't he training for that fight with Pomac? So when did he get time to present with his mates?
I have no
Sit
idea.
with his mates, sorry, but anyway, that's what he said. So maybe that's true. I mean, to be fair, there are, when you're on the circuit, you do tend to see certain fighters who train in certain gyms.
Yeah.
And within those gyms, it's rife. Right? There's another certain fighter who's been caught who is notorious for going in certain gyms. So Mr. Khan's probably telling the truth, and he is the type of bloke, no disrespect, that sometimes doesn't turn his filter off. So he's probably just told the truth.
I always seem to think that, me personally, this is not judging anyone, but your friends are an example of yourself. Yeah? I'm not saying Amir Khan's cheated. I know he's taken hundreds of PED tests through his career, and he's never failed, and he's fought against PEDs.
Yeah.
However, saying that all my mates are bodybuilders that take steroids, and I mostly sip one of their drinks, is I'm confused to the logic in that entire statement. And for a professional athlete to say that you're in that environment is not a good look.
No, probably not, but he's just saying he's in that environment. They say try this. He tries it. That's what it's been said, isn't it? People said that sometimes people get past drinks all the time.
Yeah, but when did your mate say to you, no, Amir, don't have that one. I'll put a little science in there.
No, seriously. If you got a mate that would do that in the first place.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? So
all right then.
He's doing it in the first place.
All right then. That's it for the news. Quick preview. Next week, the rematch. Joyce versus Zhang. Chat shit, get zanged.
Spit my eyes again.
Yeah. Prediction.
So repeat or redemption. Go on, I'm gonna go for redemption. I think it's gonna be tight. I think he's gonna do something differently. I think maybe, I always live in hope, and I think maybe he did something wrong with the weight last time. He came in light. He puts that weight back on because he's one of my favourites absorbing, man.
Yeah,
You know, he's good entertainment, and it was a shock, to be honest, that he could get stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he fought a southpaw and he just let that southpaw keep connecting with the same punch to the same region of his eye.
Yeah.
And it was amateurish. So I would like to think he's done some work, sparred some good southpaws, got a bit of a block on, a bit more footwork. I'd like to think, and he can evade that punch and march on to it, because Zhang does have a problem with stamina.
Yeah.
And if he can not get hit as much, I know it's hard for the juggler to move his actual head, but if he can use his feet, I hope he can get himself back on track. But Zhang's no mug.
Yeah, he's no joke.
No mug.
I'm on the fence with this one, and I'm on the fence for 2 reasons. I don't think the weight's going to help Joyce that much. Joyce was slow. Putting on more weight's going to slow him down. Yeah? 2, Joyce hit Zhang with some big shots, and Zhang didn't blink. Yeah? I'm not saying Zhang is Superman, but Joyce was fighting. It wasn't like it was a one-sided show. And Zhang didn't seem to have no concern about what Joyce was doing. His boxing skill, his jab, his punch power, his movement. Zhang read it all. Zhang done to Joe Joyce what Joe Joyce does to everyone else. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
It's a big statement.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think obviously a more fleet-footed fighter, a more skillful fighter technically, will run rings around Zhang, because Zhang is not very fast.
Yeah.
But then when you say that, Zhang seemed faster than Joyce. Yeah, that's my point. It's a tough one to call. I would like Joyce to win because I think Joyce will fight anyone. Yeah. I think he'll make better fights for the division. Zhang's in his early 40s now. He ain't got long to go.
I don't think Zhang has a problem fighting anyone. It's just, again, it's like...
Yeah, getting the fights.
Risk and reward.
Yeah. But I'm really stuck on this one. If I say Joyce, I'm saying Joyce just because I'm saying Joyce. I'm not saying Joyce because I think he's going to win.
Wow.
Call it for the show. Joyce or Zhang? Zhang.
I'm going on them. I'm going on. Not necessarily. I'm going on the heart rather than.
There you go. See,
I'm gonna.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm going for Joyce.
Okay, you're going on the heart for Joyce, but if you're talking about the actual fight, it's a much tougher fight.
It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. But like I said, I think Zhang gets tired towards the end of it. He starts to wane, and I think he can take over. Then you're right. He'll be resilient at the beginning of the fight. I think, but as long as Joyce can maintain his resilience, that's the key. I think he didn't last time, and I think he, like you say, he was in the fight. He just allowed the damage to occur to his eye.
Yeah.
So if he can stop that and stay in the fight, I think he can start to take over. I think his stamina is better.
If he doesn't get damaged, he could win the fight.
I mean, you'd have to be stupid to be here the same line again. Come on, you can't move. Like, just keep your hand there or something. Like, come on.
All right then, fellas. That's it for this week in boxing. Thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. Charlie, thank you, mate.
No worries.
Yeah, catch you next week.